Hi, my name is Thomas and I'm part of the EASO reception team, which develops the Assessment of Reception Conditions tool, or ARC tool. Its main aim is to support reception authorities and operators in assessing the reception conditions in a reception facility and produce a report comparing the condition within one or several facilities to the European reception standards developed by EASO. The ARC tool is addressed at national reception authorities and reception operators working within national reception systems, such as NGOs, national and local authorities, private contractors, or international organizations. The ARC tool has been developed by EASO in close cooperation with a working group of experts from national reception authorities specialized in quality management, auditing, monitoring, and assessment of reception conditions within their own reception systems. This video will guide you step by step on how to use the ARC tool. The content of the tool is based on the EASO standards and indicators publicly available within the EASO guidance on reception conditions and the EASO guidance on reception conditions for unaccompanied children. It is fully in line with the EU Reception Conditions Directive. The first thing you see when loading the tool is a dashboard, from which you can navigate the tool, including from the menu bar on the left bottom of your screen. Under Documentation, you will find links to the HTML versions of the two guidance documents, a link to the Reception Conditions Directive, and a link to the tutorial video. The ARC tool is available on mobile and desktop version, adapting its layout to the device you are using. It means that you can start an assessment on your mobile and finalize it on your desktop in a more comfortable setting. The ARC tool does not require an internet connection once loaded. On desktop and on mobile, depending on your browser, you can choose to install the app on your device and it will always be available offline. The content of an assessment is automatically saved only on your device and you have full control over your data, to which EASO has no access. Upon loading, the ARC tool will allow you to create an assessment related to general guidance on reception conditions, create an assessment related to the guidance on reception conditions for unaccompanied children, or load an ongoing or concluded assessment saved on your mobile device or on your computer. Let's start an assessment using the general guidance on reception conditions and go through an assessment together. This will allow us to go through the different functionalities of the ARC tool. When you start an assessment, you reach a screen where you are requested to fill in general details about the center that you are going to assess. Some of the information might only be available to you later during the day, but you can get back to the screen at any time. Nevertheless, most of the information should be available to you before the visit starts. If you leave a required field empty, a notification will pop up on the left sidebar reminding you that the information is needed. The last free text field on Remarks allows you to type in any other relevant information you have already gathered and want to appear in the assessment. A file is created once you move from this screen to the next. You can also choose to immediately save your file physically on your mobile phone or on your desktop in a dedicated folder. In any case, you can come back to this field at any point. Once done with the general details section, you can start navigating the tool. This can be done in three ways, which we're going to demonstrate on screen. A first option is to use the bottom menu bar, which allows you to go from section to section. Icons correspond to the different section of either guidance document. You can go from one section to the other without any need to follow a logical order. A second option is to use the sidebar on the left side of the screen, where all sections are also present with their full names. A third option makes you use the search function of the tool. Typing keywords such as identification or food will guide you to the relevant indicators. Let's try it now. Typing a keyword such as information will display all indicators related to information. If you type in information on reception conditions, the most relevant standard and indicator related to search will be displayed first, as shown on the screen. Clicking on one of the displayed indicators will guide you directly to it. You can now assess it and write your comments. Then you can go back to where you were. We will explore other functions of the sidebar, such as reports and documentation, later on in the video. Let's now have a look at the content of the tool and at how to assess reception conditions against ASO standards and indicators. Let's take, for example, the housing section of the general guidance. Each section is organized following the structure of the guidance in subsections, standards, and indicators. What you are assessing here is the indicator, by giving it a value based on what you find out during the visit of a center. Is a particular indicator met? You have 4 options. Yes, it is, no problem, moving on. Partially, or more or less, but improvements are needed. No, it is not met at all. NA, non-applicable, which can happen, for example, if services are provided outside of a given center or by a completely different authority. In any case, for a partially, a no, or a non-applicable, you will be asked to provide a comment. How do you assess an indicator? We need to make sure that the assessment is not merely a box-checking exercise, but a true assessment based on fact-finding and interaction with the management, staff, and residents of a center. We have some practical tips for you. By putting your mouse on or tapping the papyrus icon, it will give you access to operational tips on how to assess the indicators, what you should see, ask to see to be able to respond in an informed manner. Above the tips are the additional remarks from the guidance on reception conditions explaining why this particular indicator is important. Comments can be very concise or as detailed as you wish, as a comment box can be expanded. They should help someone reading your report to understand what you have seen or found out and on what you have based your assessment. They can also offer recommendations for change or note that you have seen a very good practice which should be shared with other centers. You can type the comments on your mobile, on your desktop, or use the voice recognition function on your mobile, which will automatically transcribe your vocal notes. Please note that your comments are not final and can be edited or removed later or before the final report is produced. As you go through the assessment, you can go from section to section and back without having to assess or fill in every indicator. If you give a no, partially, or not applicable value to a given indicator and do not comment, a notification will pop up on the sidebar. A notification will also appear next to the relevant section where an indicator has not been commented on. Clicking on a notification will bring you back to the indicator and allow you to write in your comment. This will ensure that you do not forget anything while avoiding forcing you to comment if you need to be doing something else. Once you comment, the notification will disappear. If you are not satisfied with your assessment or want to start over, you can click Reset. This will erase all data, so be careful. Let's see now how to produce an assessment report within the ARC tool. This will be the final product of your assessment, which can be shared with your colleagues. If you are satisfied with your assessment, you can move to the sidebar, click on Report, and select Current Section Statistics. The tool will automatically load a table and a graphic summarizing how the center performs against the standards of this particular section, here housing, both numerically and graphically. The more advanced final report will also display comments and will go over each section, standard, and indicator. Let's see how. The ARC Guidance Report option is a final report when you have completed your assessment or have assessed what you wanted. It will gather all data and all checked indicators and all comments if you choose so. You can choose to hide the comments if you feel they are not appropriate or you want to produce a report which does not include them, for example for the management of the reception center you have assessed. For this, simply click Hide and Applied. The comments will disappear. The report will include all the data in the General Details section. It will display every standard and indicator assessed with or without a comment. it will also display statistics and graphs for every section of your assessment. You can choose to filter only the indicators where the response is not yes, as these are the ones on which work will be needed and recommendations can be made. Again, use Apply. Please note that the generation of the report does not mean that the assessment is final. You can go back to it, edit some comments, change the value of indicators, and get back to the report. It will adapt all comments and statistics within an updated report. If you are satisfied with your report, you can choose to print it. It will produce a PDF file with all the relevant info, and you can save it on your device and share it with others. You can also choose to go from a session on your mobile to a session on your desktop for more ease of writing and editing. To do so, save the report, a JSON file, on your mobile and send it to yourself via email. You can then upload it in the tool on your desktop where all the data will be available and you will have more comfort to edit your final report. Finally, the ARC tool offers the option to compare 2 or more reports. For this, we advise to use the desktop version for better visibility. Through the function Aggregated Report, you can load multiple reports, either of different centers or of different reports on the same center at different points in time. This could be useful to see if the situation improved since your last visit, for example. This also helps to distinguish common trends within a reception network and determine on what topic action is needed. To compare 2 or more assessments with each other, go to Import Files, choose Files, select the relevant assessment, and click Import Selected. The Aggregated Report tool will allow you to compare the values of the assessment, section per section, standard per standard, and indicator per indicator, to save in Excel, or to print the aggregated report. This concludes our tutorial. We hope you have found it useful and that you are now ready for your first assessment. Don't hesitate to come back to this video or to consult the documentation. You are also welcome to send us feedback or questions at reception@easo.europa.eu.